My first meeting with Aunt Lucy was 1986 at my mum's funeral. She was by then aged 65, as she and my mum had fallen out. She had just returned from living in Venice to a country cottage in Herefordshire, and I was able to visit her often over the years. Lucy was very reclusive and spent most of her time painting, but I was never allowed in her studio. In 2011, Aunt Lucy died, and shortly after that a letter arrived. I had been made executor of Lucy's will. She had left instructions for me to scatter her ashes on plot 598 at the cemetery in Venice. Very puzzling. Eager to get going on the quest set for me, I took a quick visit to Lucy's cottage and studio, and at last saw her paintings. I took photos of the paintings and also found a load of diaries, which I took away to study, and then collected our ashes. I started to pack, and armed with diaries, photos and remains, set off for my unusual adventure. As I approached Venice, little did I realise that this trip would have so much effect on me. I just had to look around Venice first and hopefully find out more from Lucy's diaries before I fulfilled her wishes. I am now reliving some of her experiences as I tour the city, with its many canals, narrow alleyways and backwaters. The atmosphere of Venice was delightful, and I kept referring to the photos of Lucy's paintings, and I was constantly going through her diaries each evening to find out more, like where she lived, how long she was in Venice, and what she did. Not easy, as I was finding it hard to read her scrawly writing. Having got to know Lucy a little, I can just imagine her going round Venice, stopping for a coffee in one of the cafes, and wandering the back streets, hunting out unusual objects. I did pick up that she had been writing to a family called Novelli, who had some stalls in a market where she went for her fish and vegetables, and that they had 2 sons, one who was a gondolier. Another mystery, so visited several of the markets and watched in fascination at the Venetians transporting their goods on the canals. After a couple of days of taking in the atmosphere of Venice, hunting out places that Lucy might have visited, I decided it was time to visit plot 598 at San Michele Cemetery in order to fulfill Lucy's wishes and scatter her ashes. I was amazed to see that the headstone was dedicated to a Giuseppe Novelli who died in 1985. Who was he? I left the cemetery with questions unanswered, but I was eager to go to the Venice Carnival, as that was another of Lucy's wishes that I was to attend. Again, why? So it was back to the diaries, where I actually discovered that Lucy went to Venice in 1980, and there were references of her travelling on the gondolas, dressing up and taking part in the carnival, but nothing else. I found the whole carnival scene quite magical yet bizarre, and not being able to find out more, I contented myself to enjoying the rest of the trip. As Lucy must have done, I found Venice to be a romantic city, which is definitely unique, and it seems to have worked its magic on me. I am pleased to have accomplished Lucy's wishes and found it sad to leave. I wanted to find out more about her secretive life, and I knew there was probably more in her cottage to discover, and the reason why Mum never mentioned her. On my return home, the first thing I had to do was visit Lucy's cottage again. I knew there must be more to find out, and there certainly was. Some old suitcases revealed my big discovery. I found a photograph of Lucy and a gondolier taken in 1981, when Lucy must have been around 54, and written on the back was, "Love to my darling Giuseppe," the name on the grave. Attached to the photo was a death certificate for Giuseppe, but the biggest surprise of all was their marriage certificate, dated 1981.